everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. Today, Jim and I are tackling a topic that honestly I think everyone has thought about at some point. Why do some people just not get it? Or perhaps more accurately, why do they seem to operate on a completely different wavelength?
Oh, Zia, you've hit the nail on the head. And I'm guessing we're not just talking about your uncle at Thanksgiving dinner, right? We're diving into the brilliant and sometimes painfully relatable world of Surrounded by Idiots by Thomas Erikson. A title that, I must admit, first caught my eye because, well, I often feel that way.
Absolutely. It's such a bold title, isn't it? But what Erickson does so well is take that initial, slightly judgmental thought and turn it into this incredibly insightful framework for understanding human behavior. It's not about truly being surrounded by idiots, but realizing that people just communicate and perceive the world differently.
Exactly. And it's not about labeling people in a bad way. It's more like, oh, that person is a red. And suddenly, their directness, which used to feel like an attack, now makes perfect sense. It's their natural operating system.
Right? It's a game changer for communication. So, for those who haven't picked up the book yet, Erickson breaks down human behavior into four main colors: red, yellow, green, and blue. Each color represents a dominant behavioral style, and understanding them helps you decode why people act the way they do, and more importantly, how to effectively communicate with them.
It's like getting a secret decoder ring for social interactions. Let's start with the reds, shall we? Because honestly, they're probably the ones who've already skipped to the end of this podcast to see if we got to the point fast enough.
Ha, perfect. Yes, the Reds. These are your dominant, driven, results oriented individuals. They are decisive, focused, and love a good challenge. Think natural leaders, entrepreneurs, people who just get things done. Their motto is probably why stand when you can sit, why sit when you can lie down, and why bother with small talk when you can just tell me what you need.
Definitely. I've worked with a few reds over the years, and they can be incredibly efficient. But if you're not a red yourself, their directness can feel, well, a bit abrasive. They don't typically sugarcoat things. They just want the facts, the action plan, and the outcome. Emotional nuance, not their strong suit.
Absolutely. Small talk is torture for them. If you're communicating with a red, get straight to the point. State your objective, present solutions, and be prepared to move fast. Don't waste their time with lengthy explanations or emotional appeals. They respect competence and action.
Moving on from the power brokers, let's talk about the sunshine of the personality types, the yellows. These are your influencers, the charismatic, enthusiastic, and optimistic folks who light up a room. They love to socialize, talk, and generate ideas. They're often the life of the party.
Oh, I love the yellows. They're so much fun to be around. They thrive on attention and social interaction. They're brilliant at networking and inspiring others with their big picture vision. But, and this is where the idiot part sometimes comes in for non yellows, they can be a bit disorganized, easily distracted, and sometimes forget the details because they're already on to the next big, exciting idea.
Yeah, trying to pin down a yellow for a detailed plan is like trying to nail jelly to a wall. They'll give you a fantastic vision, a truly inspiring speech, but then you ask about the how, and they're like, oh, someone else will figure that out. Let's focus on the excitement. They communicate best through stories, enthusiasm, and connecting on a personal level. Facts and figures can bore them.
Spot on. So if you're working with a yellow, bring energy, be positive, and let them talk. They need to feel heard. Focus on the positive outcomes and the impact on people. Just be prepared to gently guide them back to the agenda or have a green or blue person on standby to handle the nitty-gritty details.
Which brings us perfectly to the greens. Ah, the greens. These are the calm, steady, and supportive pillars of society. They are excellent listeners, very patient, and value harmony above almost anything else. They're the people you go to when you need a sympathetic ear or a reliable hand.
The peacemakers. Greens are incredibly loyal and dependable. They dislike conflict and sudden changes. They're all about cooperation and making sure everyone feels comfortable and included. In a team, they're the ones who ensure everyone gets along and the work flows smoothly, even if they don't always take the spotlight.
They're the nice people, right? Which sometimes can be a double-edged sword. Their aversion to conflict can make them seem indecisive or passive. They might agree to something just to avoid an argument, even if they secretly disagree. They also tend to resist change, because change often disrupts harmony and stability.
That's very true. If you're communicating with a green, be calm and patient. Avoid confrontation at all costs. Give them time to process information and make decisions. Emphasize how changes will maintain stability or benefit the group, and make sure they feel supported and heard. They appreciate a steady, gentle approach.
Okay, so we've got the red doers, the yellow inspirers, the green harmonizers, and now we come to the blues. The analytical, precise, and logical thinkers. These are your detail-oriented perfectionists who value accuracy and facts above all else. My kind of people, if I'm being honest.
Oh, the blues. They are the researchers, the quality controllers, the ones who notice every tiny inconsistency. They need data, facts, and logical explanations. They're usually very organized, methodical, and cautious. They're often seen as introverted, but that's just because they're busy processing all the information in their heads, ensuring everything is just right.
Yeah, small talk with a blue can be painful if you're not prepared. They don't care about your weekend plans unless it pertains to a highly efficient, data-driven report of your leisure activities. They want the why and the how backed by evidence. And don't even think about winging it with a blue. They'll spot a flaw in your argument from a mile away.
Right. If you're communicating with a blue, be prepared. Have your facts straight, present your arguments logically, and be precise. Avoid generalizations or emotional language. Give them all the details they could possibly want and then some. They appreciate thoroughness and accuracy. They might take longer to make a decision, but when they do, it's usually the most well thought out one.
So we've got these four distinct colors. But here's the thing. Nobody is a pure red, yellow, green, or blue, right? We're all a mix, with one or two dominant colors.
Exactly. That's a crucial point. Erikson emphasizes that these are dominant styles. We all have elements of each color within us, but usually one or two will be more prominent. And our behavior can even shift depending on the context. You might be a green at home, but have to lean into your red side at work when you need to be assertive.
I think that's what makes the book so powerful. It gives you the language to understand yourself better, and then, crucially, to understand others. I remember reading it and thinking, oh, that explains why my old boss used to respond so much better when I just gave him the executive summary instead of a detailed report first. He was a red.
Totally. Or realizing why that one colleague always seems to be off topic in meetings, telling long stories. They're probably a yellow. It's not that they're trying to be difficult, it's just how their brain is wired to engage.
And the beauty is, once you recognize someone's dominant color, you can adapt your communication style. Instead of getting frustrated, you can think, okay, this is a blue, I need to bring facts, or this is a green, I need to be reassuring. It shifts the burden of effective communication onto you, which sounds like more work, but it actually reduces friction immensely.
It's proactive rather than reactive, isn't it? Instead of constantly being bewildered or annoyed, you have a tool, and it applies to everything: work, friendships, family, even customer service interactions.
Think about a sales situation. If you're selling to a red, you highlight the benefits, the efficiency, the results. If it's a yellow, you talk about the excitement, the experience, how everyone will love it. A green, you emphasize safety, reliability, and how it will improve their current situation without disruption. And a blue, you give them all the specs, the data, the research, the warranty information.
It's so practical. It's not just theory. And it really does make you feel less surrounded by idiots and more like you have a superpower to understand human nature. It fosters empathy too, because you start to see why people behave in ways that might initially baffle you.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest takeaways for me was realizing that there's no best color. Each has incredible strengths and, naturally, some blind spots. A red's directness can be a huge asset in getting things done, but can also alienate people. A yellow's enthusiasm is infectious, but can lead to missed details.
Exactly. A green's desire for harmony makes them amazing team players, but their aversion to conflict might mean important issues aren't addressed, and a blue's meticulousness ensures accuracy, but can lead to analysis paralysis or slow down decision making. It's about balance and recognizing that diverse teams with all colors represented are often the most effective.
Definitely. Imagine a project team with a red driving the initiative, a yellow generating creative ideas, a green ensuring team cohesion and support, and a blue meticulously checking all the facts and figures. That's a powerhouse right there.
That's the dream team. But it only works if they all understand each other's operating styles. Otherwise, the red might think the green is too slow, the blue might think the yellow is too frivolous, and so on. That's where the friction comes in.
It really does highlight the importance of self-awareness, too. Understanding your own dominant color helps you recognize your natural tendencies, both positive and negative. If you're a red, maybe you consciously try to soften your approach sometimes. If you're a blue, maybe you learn to trust others' intuition a bit more occasionally.
Absolutely. It's not about changing who you are fundamentally, but about being more flexible and adaptable in your communication. It's about building bridges rather than letting invisible walls spring up between you and others.
And it makes you realize that most people aren't trying to be difficult, they're just being themselves. Their normal is different from your normal. And once you get that, the whole world of human interaction becomes a lot less confusing and a lot more interesting.
It's true. It's like switching from a black and white view of people to a full color spectrum. Suddenly you see all the nuances. And honestly, it makes you laugh more because you can spot the classic red or yellow behaviors and just smile rather than getting annoyed.
Yeah, like when a yellow person is telling a story and they go off on about 7 different tangents, and you just nod and appreciate the journey, knowing they'll eventually loop back around, maybe. Or when a red cuts to the chase so abruptly, you almost get whiplash, but you know it comes from a place of efficiency, not malice.
Exactly. So if you've ever felt like you're speaking a different language than the people around you, or if you just want to improve your communication and reduce friction in your life, we seriously recommend picking up Surrounded by Idiots. It's an eye-opener.
It really is. It gives you permission to understand without judgment, and that's a powerful thing. It's not about fixing others, it's about understanding them, and then adapting yourself to build better connections. And honestly, isn't that what we all want?
Absolutely, Jim. A huge thank you to everyone for tuning in today. We hope this discussion has given you some food for thought and perhaps a new lens through which to view the people in your life.
And remember, next time you're feeling surrounded by idiots, take a breath, think about their color, and then adjust your approach. You might be surprised at the difference it makes. Until next time, stay curious and keep communicating.